What's up, YouTube? My name is Kellyanne Rose, and this is a very informative video. So grab a notepad and pen, pencil, marker, or Sharpie, and I'm going to dive right in. This video is about how to deal with generational trauma in your family. And so, first, we have to recognize what is generational trauma. So, generational trauma is just negative emotional baggage that's passed down from one generation to the next, stemming from unhealed trauma in the past, and it reveals itself in family patterns. So, what that means is it reveals itself in the habits, patterns, and core beliefs that are passed down to each generation. So, problem here is, you may have heard of generational trauma stemming from large scale, long term traumatic experiences, such as like living through slavery in the States or enduring the Holocaust during World War II. But this type of inherited trauma can be rooted in other types of extreme, prolonged stress. Those could include physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, natural disaster, epidemic, pandemic, violent events, loss of loved ones, persistent racism, oppression, or discrimination, neglect or abandonment, injury, illness, disability, and untreated mental illness, and being around substance abuse or domestic violence. Oh my gosh, this is just so hard to talk about. Poverty and food insecurity. So, how generational trauma is passed down. Studies have shown that traumatic events can really cause a chemical change in a person's DNA, which is then passed down to their offspring and future generations. These genes within can be expressed in new ways, potentially making future generations more prone to developing conditions such as PTSD, obesity, an elevated stress response, or any number of other physical and mental health issues. Furthermore, exposure to trauma can impact the way we relate to and connect with others. It can spark substance misuse disorders, clinical anxiety, depression, and a host of other factors that deeply affect our parenting. As a result, unresolved trauma in one generation can cause them to behave in ways that unintentionally further traumatize their children or grandchildren. So, I will give you some examples here. So, for example, if your grandpa is born into poverty, domestic violence, and emotional neglect, your parent could have anxiety, extreme low self worth, spiral into rage episodes, and believes children are to be seen, not heard. And if your grandmother was born into alcoholism, emotional abuse, and neglect, your parent could be depressed, highly dissociated. Perhaps they look to their children to meet their needs. Codependency would also be a trait passed down from that. And in addition, that parent could be living with denial. So now listen, here's where it gets real. At 22 years old, let's say these two parents marry together. By 25, they start having kids, all while neither has addressed or processed the abuse they've experienced in childhood. So together, they have three children, let's say. Both of the parents have low stress tolerance and limited coping mechanisms and see PTSD symptoms, namely depression and anxiety. And this is all from their childhoods. Oh my goodness. And then it continues to keep going. Their children, let's just say these are our parents, grow up in a home where they witness a dysfunctional marriage. Secrecy and denial are normal. Their father could have extramarital affairs. Their mother could look to her eldest son as a pseudo partner psychologically. Their children have learned to walk on eggshells around their father's rage and to meet the needs of the disassociated mother before their own needs. Let me repeat that. The mother is emotionally needy, meaning the children they don't learn how to take care of their own needs properly themselves because their mother's needs come before their own. So, how it could show up in your parenting, our parenting. The trauma we and our families have endured aren't always present in obvious ways, but it can show up in our daily mindset and parenting habits. So, one, through constant fear or guilt of acting like your own parents did. Two, being overly protective or controlling of your kids. Three, overcompensating by giving kids everything they want. Four, overreacting to small mistakes. Five, shutting down or blowing up when kids are loud, aggressive, etc. 6, trying to push away kids' negative emotions. 7, being obsessed with academic success. And 8, not trusting others to care for your kids. So, as a result of all this, here's how generational trauma could show up in kids. The signs of dealing with unprocessed trauma are different for everyone, but these are just some of the signs to look for that could indicate that generational trauma is affecting your kids. So 1, irritability and other signs of anxiety and or depression. 2, disordered eating, so eating disorders. 3, trouble regulating emotions. 4, self-harm. 5, substance abuse. 6, nightmares or insomnia. 7, behavioral issues at school. 8, lack of academic motivation. Then we have also distrust from doctors, authority figures, etc. That was 9. And 10, lastly, fear of asking for help. So this is all super sad. I'm just giving scenarios in this video. So we're going to move to, let's say these, the children we have, let's say an oldest son, for example. This is really heavy stuff. So you might want to, pause this video, rewind it, just kind of take it as you will, watch it in chunks. It's heavy material, but acknowledgement is the first step to changing anything. So, of course, we want to change our, we're going to talk about how, I'm just going to keep going. I'm just giving you the facts, all right? So let's say the oldest son, so he was a parent, he acted as a parent to his mother, he's quick to explosive anger, he suppresses all of his emotions, has abandonment wound from his father, binge drinks, has low self-worth and attachment issues, he can't let go of women post breaking up with them. And then let's say there's a middle daughter, she was the easy child, she's no needs really, she struggles with insomnia and anxiety, she dates much older men who really can't meet her needs, and has issues with binge eating, which is an attempt to control things through her weight. She fawns and people pleases, and she struggles to ask for help. And then the youngest son, here's the last example of the things that can show up in a child, given all this generational trauma as we use as an example that trickle down. So the youngest son, he feels abandoned and unworthy. He uses women to gain more of a sense of worth for himself. He has bouts of depression for days or weeks and hides it. He wants to do something creative, but he fears that his father won't approve of it. And then he gaslights partners like his father did to his mother. Oh, super sad. Okay. So, but the solution and the good part about this, the good news is that thankfully cycles can be broken. And that's kind of what I wanted to get to before I dived into all the things that can show up with the children. So cycle breakers is what it's called. And those are those who choose to do the work and are open to learning a new way to navigate life. So this is the good news. And that's why work is hard. But the people who are dedicated to breaking these patterns and becoming self-aware, that's what this video is here to inform you about. And just becoming aware of why things are going down the way they are, that's the first step. So that is the beautiful aha moment. The cycle breakers create change for every future generation. So not only will the future generations be appreciative and benefit so greatly from us doing the work, but think of all the thousands of ancestors, thousands literally, that you have in heaven rooting for you. So, okay, how to avoid passing this generational trauma onward? Working through the trauma as you experience it, whether you're the first generation or the fifth, is the best way to stop the cycle and avoid passing it on to your own children. So here are some steps to start with. Talk to the kids in age-appropriate ways about post-family trauma instead of avoiding the topic. Talk to them. Grandpa was abusive. Grandpa was an alcoholic. Whatever it is, be real. Don't hide the secret. That's just going to perpetuate all of it more. Just all of the gunk. All right. Work through your trauma by speaking about it with therapists, friends, and or support groups. Don't hide it. Again, don't try to protect your family reputation. Yes, there's certain people to talk to about it, and there's certain people who you don't. Maybe you don't want to mix work with this, or, you just like you don't want to mix business and, politics, right? Okay. Create an open dialogue about mental health in your family. Mental health is huge. And luckily today, people are starting to understand the importance of it. and prioritizing mental health. So, but this includes how mental health services have helped you, if applicable. So, hey, I am one of those loud and proud that can talk about mental health and therapy and everything that I've done to help myself. And that's why I'm on here, is to share all this with you, because there's just, everyone struggles. Everyone has so many, things in life, and the people that aren't talking about their problems and trying to look perfect are the ones you should worry about. Okay, so be real, create an open dialogue about mental health in your family. And be the example. Like, what services have helped you? And then recognize harmful patterns in your own parenting and find solutions with your partner or co-parent, family, friends, or therapist. So talking is healthy. I think oftentimes we feel alienated, alone. There's nobody to talk to. No one's going to understand. People are going to judge you. You know what? We're all going to die. We're all in this life together, only for a short period of time. So you're either, protecting your reputation and worrying what people are going to think of you, or you're going to be freeing like thousands of your ancestors for generations to come, and generations in the past. You've got thousands of ancestors looking down on you, cheering, clapping. You've got their support. All you've got to do is ask them for help. Ask them for assistance, guidance. Just, spirits, help me. Ancestors, help me. Just pray, ask. All right, 2 more things here. Seek out family therapy. There are free and low-cost therapy options if cost is a barrier to getting the care you need. Obviously, health insurance always helps. And just honestly, friends are the best. Therapists, not always, because you don't want to project on your friends. But just talk to people. Therapy. I'm a yogi. I'm not a therapist, but there's yoga has actually helped me a lot in learning how to meditate and calm my mind. But yeah, seek therapy. Seeking therapy is super helpful, and it's not to be ashamed of. Like in the Midwest, for some reason, or at least some of the fams, I don't know. I just feel like sometimes in families, it seems like hush hush, like you're to be ashamed of therapy. Dude, in LA, it's great. It's everyone has a therapist, and it's just super helpful, and it's super smart to, to give yourself that tool and that extra support. That it's not just a luxury. It's like most humans need people to talk to, and why not actually seek out the professional? Lastly, engage in meaningful projects and traditions with your kids that they'd be proud to pass on one day. Happy mother, happy baby, right? You got to take care of your own mental health, and do what makes you happy. And, traditions and things that just hold the family unit together that you can be proud of and talk about, and be the glue that just keeps healthy, loving, growing families growing in a positive way, in a healthy way. That's all great. So traditions and just meaningful projects, things that you can talk about together, look forward to together, set goals about together, or just have fun together, healthy, planned things that are healthy. Okay, that concludes this video. And again, I'm not the expert. I would recommend seeking therapy. Hopefully those are some solutions that you can put to tactical use. And my name is Kellyanne Rose. Subscribe to my channel, and comment with any comments and how to deal with generational trauma in your family. Hopefully this has helped you. Namaste.